All right, Easton Bruscato. This is our first real podcast interview, which is kind of easy and cool because we
Hmm.
know each other. We've been with each other all year,
Right,
or at least since December.
right.
December we met at DBAT.
Yeah, around end of December, January, maybe. Early.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
first time I met you and you barely spoke to me. When the kids were throwing or hitting to you, and I was like, Adam, you doesn't. Oh, what are we gonna do? And you're like, it's gonna be okay, Miss Sarah, it's gonna be okay. Which is kind of how I've acted all year. I
Mm.
constantly come to
Hmm.
y'all and I'm like, is it okay? Is everything okay?
Right.
And y'all have to constantly tell me, Tara, chill out,
Mm.
chill out. Let me first give you an introduction. So you are from Sterlington. Grew up in Sterlington
Right.
your whole life.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. And then you're going to ULM. You're in your junior year,
Right.
and you had started in construction.
Hmm.
And this year you made the switch over into deciding you want to coach and teach.
That's
So
right.
mainly coach, right?
That's right. And
But
I mean, I look forward to teaching too, but definitely the coaching side was the passion for sure,
yeah,
making that switch. But
yeah. And it was
driving home from a tournament actually kind of, opened my eyes. So,
you called your dad.
oh yeah, dad, mom, anyone who would talk to me
I'm
about
gonna finish giving the introduction, and then I'm gonna let you kind of
it.
tell
Okay.
that story
Good.
because I haven't ever heard it.
Okay.
So you played travel ball the whole time you were growing up,
Right.
and like how old do you think you were when you started?
Probably about 8 or 9 years old.
And you played until
I mean, well, real travel ball, I guess you could say until eighth grade summer. Well, eighth grade summer for me was actually COVID, so I kind of
oh
missed
yeah.
I missed that. But about around eighth grade year, and then going into high school, you do play like it's a little it. They don't even really call it travel ball at that point; it's just summer ball. And you go to tournaments and try and play in front of like scouts and
Hmm.
whatever. Sometimes there's no scouts there, but
Right, they try to act like it.
mm,
And then you're coaching football at Sterlington High School.
right,
That started this year.
right, right,
That's
right.
new. And then you coach our 9U team, which was the 318
Mm,
Thunder. And this season going into 2026, 2027, you're going to be the 318 Lightning coach, which is
right.
the 7-8U coach pitch.
Hmm.
You got to find somebody to pitch for you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then you're also you're co-coaching with Adam the 9U Storm,
Right,
and you're the one that convinced me to do that because
right.
you said, Miss Tara, I really like 9U,
Hmm.
if we can do a 9U team, I think we should.
Right,
So I was
for
like,
sure.
okay, I guess we're gonna do a 9U team.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then you come from a family that everybody here in Washington Parish knows. I've known your dad for a good 15 years, Scott
Hmm.
Bruscato. He
Right.
is the VP
Mm,
over there at the Monroe West Monroe Convention of Visitors Bureau. That's a lot to
it
say.
is. We always just say CVB.
Yeah.
That's what he calls it. So.
And then your uncle, Brandon Brasada, he is the director at ULM of the Recreation and Activity Center.
Hmm.
Basically, he's the person that we have to go through to schedule our
Yeah.
field when we practice out there at
Right.
ULM. All right, so how did I do my introduction?
That's good. Yeah. That's fine. Hmm.
Okay. Tell me, because I'm interested in this. Tell me the story of when you decided that you were going to coach.
Okay. So essentially, we were out at Ruston,
Mm-hmm.
playing a tournament, and it had already kind of been on my mind a little bit. And all growing up, like that's what I wanted to do. Like if you would ask me like freshman or really like sixth grade through freshman, sophomore, maybe junior year, I would have told you like I wanted to, you know, coach and teach, and like
Mm-hmm.
that's just what I would have wanted to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere around my end of my junior year, senior year, I started to, kind of change my mind and really say like it was, to be honest with you, it's really about the money. Like I find a job where I can make money and whatever else. I landed on construction management at ULM, and they have an awesome program there. They really do.
You
And
thought you wanted to go into.
yeah, I didn't really know anything about it other than like I knew there was money in it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all I really cared about. To be honest with you. So I went through my freshman year. It wasn't too bad, and then my sophomore year, my fall semester, it was kind of fine. But I always knew deep down inside, like I didn't love it. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
my passion, but it was also in my mind. I was kind of like, what's a job? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be like your passion. It's not whatever else. And then halfway through my sophomore year, while I was coaching for y'all, I was kind of sitting there. I was like, man, I've really enjoyed this. And I know like my passion is, and I love coaching the younger guys, but it's really like my favorite thing is like working with the high schoolers and
Mm-hmm.
coaching, kind of that older age group. And I was like, man, I
But
love
you had
this.
never coached before.
Right. I had never really coached before. I had done a little bit of lessons, but that's not coaching. It's just individual work.
So how would you know you like the high school?
Um, well, I just love the developmental side of it, and just working with guys, and just honestly, I just love the game of baseball and football, and like I do love doing it with a 9U, and I haven't done 8U yet, but we're gonna see, and I think I like it, but I really just love the game, and at this age, like they're still learning how to play it, so it's more teaching them the game
Mm-hmm.
versus once you get into high school, you're still teaching a lot, of course, but it's also more of like, you know, the strategy and all the coaching, like it's more strategic wise, I guess, because a lot of that they already know the game,
Hmm.
especially once you teach them in practice, and once you're coaching a game, it's just it's just my thing. Like I've
Like
just always
is
loved
it
it.
kind of like autopilot or
Right
no?
for the players, you
For the older ones.
right, right,
But
right,
I think
right.
for the younger ones, like you're there for their first home run.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
know, you're
there's
there for
definitely
their
a lot of
pop
special
fly.
things about them with the younger people. But that's
Sure.
just always kind of been my like that was always I don't know why that's always what I've wanted to do. My mom, she coached soccer and she started out coaching softball
Hmm.
at Sterlington High School. Then she stopped doing that and started the soccer program. So
Okay.
they didn't have a soccer program. And
I
then
didn't know
her,
that.
say what?
I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, yes ma'am, she did. She started the program there. They didn't have it, so their first year they were JV only because they make you do your JV, and they've been on since then. So she started the program there.
Is she still there?
She actually recently decided that she was gonna stop coaching soccer,
Hmm.
and she got back into softball. And
Okay.
this is her first year coaching back with softball in Sterlington one state. So
Oh my
she
gosh.
immediately got a state championship by getting
Oh
into it.
wow.
But oh
That is
yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, it's always what I really wanted to do. And I decided they didn't, I was like, well, I don't know. I want to see if I can make more money, but it's always been my
So tell
passion.
me about the drive home from Ruston.
I was just driving home and I was like thinking like, man, I really want to coach, but I can't change out of construction. Like it's been going too well.
Because you
Everybody,
planned on like the deal was you were going to coach us through May,
right,
and then you were going to leave, and you had already had an internship in
right.
Texas.
I was set up in Dallas to go on an internship.
So we had it worked out to where when you stopped in May, Adam would pick back up
Right,
because he had stopped when baseball season started
right,
because he was in his senior year at ULM.
exactly, right.
So,
So I was kind of driving home and like I just felt it on my heart that that's what I wanted to do, but it felt like it was almost like a bad feeling because I was like I know I can't do this. Like I have to stay in construction. Like I have an internship. Like everybody who'd asked me about construction, like, oh yeah, I'm loving it. Which I didn't. I don't want to say like I just dreaded it or hated it,
hmm.
but it wasn't my passion. But but yeah, I was like this is so out of the blue. Like I can't do this. And I think like 10 minutes in the drive, I was like, I mean, I can do this. Like this is my life. Like in fact, and then it started to turn into like I need to do this because I don't want to get into a job that I'm like I'm here for the money. I did this because I felt like it would pay good, and then I hate my job every day.
Hmm.
Versus do something like coaching where you know it never really feels like work. And there's times where like you're sitting there and it does feel like work, but for the most part, like to me, coaching doesn't feel like a job. It's just something
Right.
I love to do, and so I was like, why would I not go get paid to do that? So I was driving home. I called my mom, and my mom,
Did
funny
anything
enough,
happen at the game that made you?
no, it just hit me that this is what I wanted to do for my life, and like I said, I already knew I wanted to deep down inside. I think I just didn't want to admit it to myself,
Uh-huh.
and just being out there coaching, I was like, this is what I want to do. But I called my mom, and the funny part is my mom has been saying from the beginning like you're gonna end up coaching. I would get mad, like I actually get mad at her. I'm like, mom, stop saying that. Like I'm in construction, like you need to stop. Like it would like genuinely would annoy me. And I think probably because it struck a nerve because deep down, like I said, I knew that's what I wanted to do,
Uh-huh.
but I felt like I couldn't. And so I called her, and she was like, I knew it. I knew that's what you wanted to do. So she was, you
Was
know,
your dad there with her?
he wasn't. So I was more nervous to call him because he loved that I was in construction. He's like, that's gonna be awesome. So I was nervous to call him, but he was supportive. He was like, all right, well, okay. Like I guess that's what you're doing. He knew. He knew too.
Is that
And
what you felt like you needed to call them and tell them this, or like,
like I was like, oh my goodness. Like I was like because I mean for me like obviously changing my career path like it was kind of one of those things where like this is a big deal. I was kind of like not freaking out, but almost like I need to figure this out like right now. So I called my mom, my dad. I think I called my grand. Like I was calling everybody trying to figure this out.
what
And
time? Like when? What would this? Okay, so we're in July right now.
right.
So like, when do you think it was?
And maybe I want to say probably February, early February. I want to say it wasn't the first tournament, but it was earlier in the year. But yeah, it was pretty early in
And
the
you
season.
didn't tell me.
Not immediately. Well, I didn't want to tell anybody because my initial plan was that I had the internship
Uh huh.
and it was a paid internship. So I was going to go anyways on the internship because I was like maybe I'll go and I'll love it. And if I don't love it, like I'm still getting paid to do it. I'm
Hmm.
getting to go live in Dallas for summer, like all these things. And but after a couple weeks went by, I was like, it really hit me. I was like, no, this is like I want to coach. So I was like, I'm one of those people like I'm either all in or all out.
Hmm.
So once I realized I wanted to coach, I was like, I don't want to waste time going to Dallas to do that. Like I'm gonna go ahead and like I wanted to talk to the coaches at Sterlington about going ahead and coaching football with summer workouts. So it's like I was like all in from there. And so that's kind of it. Like I was like, no, like I'm not going to Dallas. So
Well, I don't know how the parents found out on our team, but we were somewhere, and one of them said, "Well, Easton has decided he's going to stay in coach now, and he's not going to go into construction." And I was like, "No, I didn't know that."
mm-hmm.
So I don't, did you tell anybody?
Shoot, I don't really know. I might have told somebody.
I mean, it doesn't matter who.
I'm sure I
I
told
wondered
somebody, but
but like you didn't ever come tell me.
it's kind of one of those things, like, because I was unsure about, like, I was like, I know this is what I want to do, but like, is this the
Is
right
there any
thing?
reason why you didn't come tell me,
No, I mean,
or did you
no
just
specific
assume I already
reason.
knew?
I really don't know. To be, I honestly probably made the decision, and, like, forgot about it, but I don't really know. But I don't think there's any like specific reason. But I also think like it was hard for me to tell people because a lot of people are like all excited for me because I had this internship, all this good things going for me in construction, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not doing it anymore. So it was like I probably like was nervous to tell people at first, but I don't really know an exact reason why I didn't. Honestly, I don't think there really
Like
was.
when I found out though, and I found out what I mean, obviously it had to been because you were coaching with us because it was
Right.
your first like real coaching.
Hmm.
I was like, man, we had that much of an impact on him that he wanted to
Right.
go into
Right.
coaching. Like that it made me feel good to know that
Right.
we were doing something right. We obviously had to be doing something right
Right.
for
Well,
you to decide this is what you wanted to
right.
do.
And that's why I'm so grateful to y'all and like for the opportunity and just grateful to God to put me in this situation to do this because at the end of the day, like I said, it was always my passion. It's always what I wanted to do. But I kind of pushed it to the side and like I'm gonna do something else. And coaching with y'all, like it didn't take long for me to realize like what am I doing? Like this is what I love to do. I
Yeah.
love to be around the game of baseball. I love coaching baseball.
So Adam
So
started with us. Adam Tubbs started,
right,
and you guys were roommates.
right.
And how did he approach you? Like what? How did that come about?
Well, that's my thing. Like I believe in God and I'm a Christian and all that. And that was the crazy part about it is financially, like as far as rent went, like I was fine, but like it was like there were some months I was cutting it close, and like I kind of did need to pick up some more work and whatever. And I was talking to Adam about it, and he was just like, we were in the kitchen and we were just talking, and I told him because I was going to coach for another travel ball team
Mm-hmm.
a while back, and literally like they brought me on to do it, and then I ended up getting a call from ULM baseball, and they were asking about me working for their baseball team, so I ended up calling that travel ball team and just thanking them, and I went and worked for ULM baseball for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and so long story short, like I never ended up doing that, but I was telling Adam about that. Like, oh yeah, I almost coached for this travel ball team.
Uh-huh.
And I coached them like for a few practices, but that's when I came to work for ULM baseball. And of course, Adam knew that because he played for the team at ULM and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess maybe when I told him like I almost coached the team, he was looking for somebody. He's like, well, Easton, like whatever. So he texted me like it was either like the next night or 2 nights later, and was like, hey man, like I can't do this during the season. Obviously, I need someone to pick it up for me while I'm gone. And then he texted me to do it. And like I said, like it was a God thing because one, like obviously it was able to help me pay my bills at the house, which now I live with my parents, so it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. But like during that time, it was really a big help for me. And then on the flip side, which is way bigger than anything, was it helped me like figure out like this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to coach. And I was really just thinking because like and me and you and Adam have kind of talked about like whenever I was rooming with Adam, like I just stayed in my room. Like I
I
never really came
know.
out.
He never even. I was like, hey, I'd had just like random conversations with either one
Mm-hmm.
of you, and you'd be like, well, I hadn't talked to Adam. I was like, you live with the guy.
Right.
And like,
Right.
there was a lot of times like y'all just didn't.
And a big part of that is, with baseball, he was in and out of the house all the time. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm pretty busy with school and all that, and so we were busy. But to be honest with you, like I just stayed in my room. Like I'm very like I am a homebody. Like I love being in my room and just whatever. So we honestly didn't talk too much. So the fact that like I said, and he may text me anyways. I don't know. This would have to be something we'd have to ask Adam. I never asked him, but I feel
Uh-huh.
like a part of the reason he asked me is because like just a couple nights ago, I was telling him how
Yeah.
I was coaching for this travel ball team and I was going to do that until I ended up going to work for you on baseball. So yeah, it was kind of a crazy like coincidence and one of those things where it worked out. Like it's pretty cool how it worked out for sure.
Well, okay. Another question I wanted to ask you. So now that you coach 9-year-olds
Mm,
and you've seen what that's like, if there was something you could tell yourself back
mm.
when you were 9, knowing what you know now, how old are you?
20. I turned 21 in less than a month.
Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and say you're 21.
Okay.
So if you were 9 again, or you could just speak to your 9-year-old self, 9-year-old Easton,
Hmm.
what would you tell him about
Mm.
baseball?
Yeah. Honestly, probably just to enjoy it because it does go by fast, and I wouldn't change too much. I mean, I'm happy with how things turned out, and I did enjoy baseball growing up. But I also think sometimes it's so tough, like, oh, I had a bad game, or this or that, whatever. And at the end of the day, you're 9 years old. Like, it's going to go by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And just in this travel ball world, which I don't know, we may or may not touch on this later, but like things change so fast, teammates change, whatever else, like stuff just changes. So I think the main thing would be, and this is hard to tell a 9 year old for them to understand, but just enjoy where you're at now,
Like slow down.
slow down and just enjoy it. Like if you have a bad game, don't come mad to the next game because at the end of the day, like you only get so many of these. When you're
Right.
9 years old, you feel like you have a lifetime of baseball left, and you do have a lot of baseball left ahead of you. But like just enjoy it. I think
Did you
that's.
think at 9 like you were going to play for the rest of your life, or what
Oh,
did
when
you
I was
think?
9 years old, I thought I was going to the NFL, to the MLB. Like I thought like no doubt, like I was going to be playing NFL in the fall, and when baseball season, I'd be I didn't think I'd ever stop playing.
And did your friends think that too?
Oh, ever. I mean, I think that's part. I don't know. Maybe it was just me and my friends, but like we all thought, yeah, we thought we were going to the league. Like we didn't know any better. 9 years old.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. Let's see what else did I want to ask you. How important, like how much involvement did your dad have
oh, he had a
with
lot.
you growing up, like playing ball? Like what role did your dad have?
Oh, he had a big role. I mean, he coached me in just about everything, which was good and bad at times. There's definitely times where he would get on to me.
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to see you, and now I got to ride home with you, and
Uh
it's like
huh.
okay. But I will say, and kind of like what we're trying to tackle and get rid of, and travel ball is the daddy ball and whatnot. And I will give my dad credit. There was not much daddy ball going on. I think for majority of the time I played for my dad, he batted me last. Like
And
I
see,
was,
that's one of the things that I've noticed too with Daddy Ball. And like, I don't want to talk about it too much because there's so much controversy on it right now. I want people to be able to make their own decisions on it. But that's one of the things that I have noticed because he had always played first,
right.
and then y'all moved him. I don't think it was when he was playing catcher, but when he was somewhere else on the infield, I think I said, "Can he do that?" And either you or Adam one said he can catch a ball, can he? And I was like, "Well, yeah." He was like, "Then what's the problem?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Well, thanks for making me feel stupid." But I mean, but like that was the cool thing about y'all's mentality as a coach is like, just let them try.
Yeah. Well, at 9 years old, you don't know what you can play. I mean, at 9 years old, you may like play shortstop for your team your whole life, and then you get to high school, and there's another kid in your grade who's just a stud shortstop. It's like, hey man, if you want to play, you better figure out how to play second or center or left. That's why I think youth ball, and I'll admit, as a coach this year, I could have done a little better. I think I did okay at it. I could have done better though. But I do try and move kids around and let them
Hmm.
play new positions because at the end of the day, like when you get to high school, it is a big deal that you can play more than one position. Because like I said, like you never know. Like you may be a great athlete, but someone in your grade is going to LSU to play shortstop or catcher. So you better find out how to play second or center or left. So I think at this age, it's good to start to learn some versatility for sure.
All right, so I know I don't want to keep you all night, but one more question I wanted to ask you. If a parent is out there and they're watching this right now,
Yep.
and they have a child that is interested in going into playing 9U, because 9U is the first year they can play live arm.
Right.
They're coming out of coach pitch from
Right.
7 8U, so
Right.
nine is, and I was told like be prepared, it's a lot slower.
It is.
What would you tell a parent that has a child? I think I know the answer to this, but what would you tell a parent that is their child could possibly step into travel ball, or if they're just stepping into 9U baseball for the first time? What advice would you give them? What would you tell them? What would you tell them to have their child to be taught?
Be taught? Okay. Be taught. I mean, first of all, you want to start learning how to pitch.
I see. That's what I thought.
I
That's
mean,
what I
that's
thought.
like,
You need as many
yeah,
pitchers as you possibly can on the team.
yeah.
You
I
need nine pitchers.
I think as far as like advice though, like there's so much I could sit here and give, but the main thing is like, yeah, see if you can get them started on learning how to pitch because I mean it's their first year of pitching.
Every one of them in a perfect society. Every kid on the team could pitch.
Right. I mean, the more you have, the better, obviously. But other than that, I would say like main advice aside from like what you need to learn,
I
I'd
mean, is it
say
stealing's different or
stealing's
the base?
different, hitting's different. I mean, you're not hitting off your coach anymore. You might get hit with the ball. It might hurt a little bit.
True. I didn't think about that.
And so there's a lot of
Catching, obviously,
stuff.
it's got to be different.
Catching's everything's. I mean, it's a different game. And like in 9U, what they're playing now, when he gets to high school, something you're gonna realize is like this is it's still kid pitch, but it's gonna feel like a different game. Like they're gonna be doing things and running the bases and everything changes. Like not the 9U to 10U jump, I don't think will be huge. I think there will be a jump, but it won't be huge. But like from this age to middle school will be a big jump, and middle school to high school will be a big jump.
A pay coach, being an athlete, one thing that I've noticed is like that I try to tell people is like you still have that in your veins. If you still
Yeah.
know what it feels like to walk up to that to bat and
Hmm.
the nerves, or
Right.
like what it's like to be on second base and feeling what's am I supposed to like look at the coach when he tells me to take off and
Right.
lead, or like what's it going to feel like when I steal? Like that's something that was so recent to you
Hmm.
that you can relate to the boys
Right.
and
Right. Right.
maybe
Right.
dads they hadn't done it 20 plus years and it
Right.
may be different
Well, and
now.
it goes back to like what we said earlier, and like it kind of was a good point because you said like, oh, I'd never thought about that, and like a kid swings and misses and strikes out, and their dad is just yelling like, come on, man, like getting on to them, and it's like they knew they weren't supposed to strike out there. They knew like the object of the game is to hit the ball and get on. Like they know that, and they know they didn't do that. And so it's hard for them a lot of times, and they get frustrated themselves. The last thing they need is their dad, who most of them, if not all of them, look up to be yelling at them and putting them down. And so yeah, and like versus I can relate. Like I remember striking out. It wasn't fun. I definitely wouldn't. It wouldn't have made me feel better to have my dad yell at me when I struck out. So it's like I know when they strike out. Like I don't think I've ever yelled at a kid for striking
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw you yell.
out. Right. And the only time I really got on to kids was just little stuff that I taught them that you can control. Because at the end of that, like I said, you're going to strike out. You
I
can't
think I
control that.
saw you getting upset, like when you would tell them to take, like not to swing, and they would swing,
Oh
or
yeah,
vice
that I'll get
versa.
mad about. That I'll get very mad about because that's just not being coachable. Like
Yeah.
because they all knew the take sign. There was times where we'd get a 3-0 count, and this is something you'll see in baseball. Like once you get a 3-0 count in baseball, unless it's like one of your best hitters, like you're almost always going to give them take. And a lot of times, most coaches will give their best hitter take. 3-0, we're not swinging. There's a time and a place, but yeah, there was a couple times where I gave a kid a take and he didn't listen. I did get mad about that. That's the stuff I'll get mad about. Like if I give you a sign and you know I gave you the sign
Hmm.
and you just ignore me, oh yeah, I'll get mad. I'll get mad when they don't slide and there's a close play. But when it comes to like striking out, like it can be frustrating for me to see them strike out. But also I know that that's a part of the game that they're gonna strike out. That's part of the game. And me yelling at them, like, what's that gonna do? Make them feel even crappier about themselves. So
One thing that I always was curious about, and I've never got to ask you, when the kids are when they're pitching,
hmm
and I know you walk up to the mound and you go talk to them. What? How do you know when to do that?
yeah. Um. So it really just depends. Sometimes it's the scenario of, especially this happens in older baseball, but a lot of times this can happen in 9U baseball, where the pitcher, like, people don't realize because they're not moving much. They're sitting here, come and set, pitch, go. People don't think about this, but that is like it gets tiring, and they get tired. And sometimes the pitcher, like our guy, will be good all game, and he'll start to lose it, and you can just see it, like he's tired. He needs a second to breathe.
Hmm.
So sometimes when I see that, I'll call times, and I'll literally go out there and talk to him for as long as I can until the umpire says, "Hey, coach, come on, we got to go." And all that is just giving the pitcher time to take a deep breath, catches because he's tired.
And what
And
are
then
y'all talking about?
I'll literally go up there and say, "Feeling good?" And he'll say, "Yeah." All right, okay. Look around, like, and then I'll just probably say something to take his mind off it. Because sometimes, genuinely, I just need to go, get on to him. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Hmm.
something like that. So it just depends. Like, mound visits can be very strategic. Hate when coaches will come out because they know, like, time's getting low and maybe we're starting to come back on them.
Hmm.
And instead of just playing the game and either beating us or losing to us,
Hmm.
they'll go stall the clock and go take a mound visit. I just think it's crappy in Bush League and not the right way to play the game. But some coaches would say they're there to win and that they're there to whatever and would argue that. But just my personal belief is I want to teach the guys on our team how to play the game the right way.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, to play the game the right way, you line up and play. And if they're better than you and they beat you, they beat you. But we're not going to go out here and try and drain the clock on them so they
Yeah,
can't have a chance. Like I think it's crappy. But
I think so. So Tyler takes pitching lessons,
hmm
and I know that that's been a big, huge difference in how he pitches. Like his
right,
he took lessons last summer, and then he started off pitching in the fall, and then he couldn't take lessons in the middle of the spring because we were playing so much, and then now he's picked up doing lessons again. And we were just in a tournament last weekend, and he
yeah,
pitched again for the first time in a
did
while.
really good
He
too.
did a lot better, and so I think going back to giving advice to parents out there that maybe have kids that are interested in pitching or not even interested. If they're going into 9U, by all means, try to let them learn how to pitch.
Right,
But wouldn't you say like getting them lessons
right.
is going to be helpful? And
hmm
like, what would you say as far as they're learning? What would you say as far as like when to stop them or when?
Like know who you're playing for and know that your coach has your kid's best interest in their
Mhm.
heart and not just winning a 9U baseball game.
And wouldn't you? I'm sure you would recommend having a paid coach
Oh
as
yeah,
opposed
either a
to a
paid
dad.
coach or a dad who you genuinely know, like they know the game and they're going to do what's best for your kid. Because there are some dads out there that are fine, and there's a lot that aren't, but there are some. Because I don't want to say that every dad coach is bad, because there are good ones, but I just think knowing your coach, and knowing that your coach cares more about your player your player's development and safety over winning a tournament.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, I will not overthrow a 9-year-old pitcher to win a tournament. I will never do it. All right.
I don't think you went into any game like your goal. I mean, obviously, yes, you want to win,
Right.
but like you were more about like let's do this the right way.
I care so much more about them learning to play the game the right way and getting better rather than winning a game.
Yes,
I'm not
I
I'm
could
not going to
definitely see
throw a
that.
pitcher a 9-year-old kid more than he needs to throw. And I want to win. I'm very, very, very competitive. But at the end of the day, like, what does winning a 9U tournament really get you in the grand scheme of things versus what does developing a kid and making him a better baseball player get you in the grand? Like, when you're weighing your options here, it's like, and you can do both, but I'm just saying there's definitely ways to win that, like, I'm not going to win like that because it's
Right.
not making them better. And it's whether it be like, health wise, like for their arms, maybe bad, or maybe it's teaching them bad habits, or they're just not playing the game the right way. Like I'm not gonna do that, and I'm not gonna teach them that. And if that costs us a game or two, well, so be it. Because at the end of the day, if your kid is in 9U baseball and your priority as a parent for them is them to win tournaments, then you're in it for the wrong reason. Like your goal should be for them to become a better baseball player. Well, I say B, become a better baseball player, but the priority is like become a better person because I do believe sports can teach you life lessons and help you become right,
Structure wise, and
right, and learn
just
how to become like a young man and
hmm
all those good things. So those are my priorities at the end of the day, and I hope the winning follows, and I believe that it will follow, and we will have a lot of success this season.
I
But
think so too. I think that this past year was a big developmental
right. What was our first
position.
year starting a team? I mean,
Yes.
nobody's going to start an organization first year and just be really good unless they just, have a lot of connections and, pull from other teams. But
Yeah. Tyler, come here real quick before we get finished. I'll let Coach Easton ask you a couple questions.